Good morning, Sonor family. It's Monday already, and seems like I make that same comment every Monday. There's two reasons for that, and that is that the weekend tends to go fast, and the second reason is because we usually have a Monday every week, right? So kind of stands to reason. Um, Today's top story is this whole Cracker Barrel fiasco. What's that got to do with drum and stage or Sonor? Well, let's talk about that. Cracker Barrel appears to be a little bit detached from where they came from and who their supporters are, and they claim, I, for some reason, I've lost her name and I don't care. She claims that there's a lot of strong support for the changes. Uh, it's not on social media. I've kind of dug into this out of curiosity, plus having witnessed several brands kind of flush themselves down the toilet. And yeah, I'm interested to see how things go. Um, I'm not a fan of the new logo. I'm not really a fan of strong departures from history. Um, you know, we can go around all day long about this, but at any rate, I think they've sterilized the Cracker Barrel image, and from what I've read and my own experiences, probably pepping up the food area would have been the correct move. But instead of that, no, we're gonna work on perception and sterilizing what we've got. Now, how does that tie into this? Well, here's how. I was following Sonor very closely when the Link family decided to make their exodus from drum building and ownership fell under Honor. And a scary thing with something like that is that you don't know what direction a company might take. Um, when Honor HSS had distributed uh, Sonor in the United States, and I think Honor prior to Honor HSS, which was a separate corporation, there's a whole story to that. And if I had the book handy, I'd show it to you. But anyway, when you've got a company that is so detached from reality, like Honor HSS, uh, their main focus was harmonicas and accordions, primarily harmonicas, from what I gather. So, when their distribution is so galactically horrible, and then they take ownership of the company, really, really gives you some deep concerns as to what the future holds. Luckily, they had Karl Heinz Menzel still manning the ship, and so I think that's where a lot of continuity and forward thinking came from. And then in time, Karl Heinz Menzel, in recent years, um, he's left the picture. And so in a situation like that, it really really makes you wonder what the next step is, especially when Sonor has become a portfolio brand for KHS. In the United States, KHS distributes, I think, 30 different companies. And I don't know how much of that they own or own part of or what, but in the United States, they have three drum brands. They have Majestic, Mapex, and Sonor. And it just makes you wonder in a situation like that, is one particular brand going to manage to lose their identity? Luckily, the answer we're seeing is no. Slingerland has just made a big comeback under the ownership of DW. And I think one thing that, us old time Sonor guys have to be very thankful for is that Sonor is not being revived by a California company or a Japanese company or anything like that. Sonor is still strongly rooted in Germany, uh, by a parent company that allows it to operate and do its thing. And I think that's a really big deal. And I think we don't need to take that for granted. As has been stated before, after talking to some people that have bought the 150th anniversary Sonor lights and Sonor signatures. The quality right now is the best ever. We're living in the golden age of Sonor as far as I'm concerned. They sound better, they're built better than they ever have been, which says a whole lot. So, how's this all tie back to Cracker Barrel? Well, um, I think it's really a good thing that Sonor has managed to keep leadership that doesn't do really stupid stuff. And you can actually flush something down the toilet to the point you can't drag it back up. And we've seen that in the past with other things. And I'm not going to go into any specifics because I'm really not prepared with any. We're about to beat this dead horse dead enough. So I'm just going to leave it with that. The whole Cracker Barrel thing, I think uh, it remains to be seen what the long-term effect is. But us people watching this channel right now are people that are fanatical about a drum company that is so over the top compared to other drum companies with their manufacturing, their designing and engineering, the whole bit. And if you don't believe that, maybe you should take a step back and take a look at the bigger picture. Nobody is building the level of quality Sonor is. Nobody. As far as tom mounting and all that kind of stuff, Sonor's top end tom mounting systems and all that are second to none. I stand by that all day long. And if you like another company stuff, that's great. You know what? There's nothing wrong with us having varying opinions. But, in the overall scheme of things, as critical as I have been in the past of Sonor, in some ways and about certain things, and I still am about some things. Some of them I can't talk about yet. But overall, I still think they're very well moving in the right direction. They never got stagnant. They never just parked and said, okay, we're better than everybody else. We're going to stay here. We're going to run on our laurels. We're going to pump this stuff out and, run on the status quo. And, we'll order parts by the millions and we'll just use this stuff till kingdom come and everybody be happy and we'll stay in business and everybody make a nice profit and go home and sleep good. That has not happened. So they've really stayed on top of their game. So kind of change it up a little bit. I have an upcoming episode of Kit of the Week, which is going to be in theory, it's going to be a weekly program that comes out on Wednesdays. In reality, I'll put one out when I can. In reality, it's going to be just like these interviews. Sometimes, like right now, I've had them a little bit backed up. We're about to get back on schedule. I have one at noon today, a Zoom meeting, and probably I think September the 6th. Is that not, if that's the Saturday, if not, it's the Saturday closest to September the 6th is when this particular interview is going to come out. This coming Saturday, unless something goes afoul on my end, is going to be Kevin Hernandez. He's been a Sonor endorser for about a year. We're going to hear his story and how he created a Sonor felony. And that's all I'm going to tell you about that. But it should be punishable by hanging. And you'll see. You'll see. Anyway, big smile because this is all men in fun. But he did the unthinkable. But anyway, another kit. Well, one of the first kits of the week is going to be a Phil Rudd set, and that's of particular interest to me. I never had one. I didn't get one for the same reason a lot of people didn't, and that is because they were a lower end drum set, so there was that mental stigma. But and they used basswood, basswood, I think. And you know, even at the time, some of the commentary that I read about the drum set, they did not use that particular wood as solely a cost cutting method. That particular wood lended well to the extra deep toms and the sound that drum set was supposed to represent. So we've got a I've got a Facebook friend who has sent me some pictures and a little bit of a write up. He's declined to do a Zoom meeting, which is fine. So I'll be winging it, and I'll have to draw on some of my own knowledge and all that, including what he has sent me. But he's gigging with this thing, and a few years ago, I actually found one on Reverb and bought it, and I bought it to flip, and then after I really got to thinking about the numbers, and it was probably going to need a lot of work. I mean, I was probably going to have to take the wrap off and potentially paint the thing or something, maybe rewrap it. But if you don't have the wrap, it could be just as cheap to go out and buy some black paint, excuse me, and some clear coat and all that, and just mask off the bearing edges and spray paint the thing. Um, but after I bought it, the luster wore off quite quickly, and I actually offered to cancel the deal and take a partial refund. So basically, paying this guy not to send it to me. And the funny thing was, we got in an argument about how much money was going to be involved. He kept insisting. Now, let me back up. He and his wife had spent an afternoon packing this drum set up, so that's important to know. So we we went back and forth on how much the refund was going to be. He wanted to do a Basically he wanted to do a full refund. And I felt horribly guilty about the fact that they had bought stuff and packed this thing up. So we came to a mutual agreement. I I got refunded all the money except enough for them to go out and have themselves a very nice dinner to make up for the wasted afternoon and money for the materials, which they were going to need anyway once the drum set did sell, and it did. So anyway, I almost got one a couple of years ago, and I wish I had back in the day just to put it through the paces, just so I would know from personal experience. Having the Phil Rudd signature on the bass drum reso head did not appeal to me. I mean, it would have been a cool thing to put up somewhere, but I'm not an autograph kind of guy. And as well as many times as I've met Todd Circumman, I think I've got an autographed pair of drumsticks. But just as far as having, something where he's giving me an autograph on a sheet of paper or something, just that's not my thing. And plus, it can make it awkward when I'm meeting people and all that. I'm trying to be somewhat professional. As you can tell with my designer shirt here. So anyway, I try to be careful how I conduct myself around folks. Um, anyway, moving that along. AQ2s, the 150th anniversary. Uh, Let me just tell you something, and this is going to back up 2 points I've made lately. Somebody walked into Atlanta Drum Shop and was not there specifically to look at the 150th anniversary AQ2s. I don't even know if they knew they were there. They were at the store most likely, from what I know, because they were in Atlanta, and so is the Atlanta Drum Shop, which is why they called it the Atlanta Drum Shop. And wound up buying the AQ2s. Now, I would love the whole story, and I hope to interview Mike soon from Atlanta Drum Shop because his dealership started, I think, he took possession of his first shipment in 2025. So he is a very fresh dealer in the world of Sonor, and yet he did sell a Sonor signature 150th anniversary heritage set, and now he's very quick to sell one of these AQ2 sets. And not because the guy was out relentlessly looking for one, but just happened to walk in and see it and had to have it. So awesome for the AQ2s and awesome for Atlanta Drum Shop. Good job, Mike. And I'm just going to reiterate, if you're in the market for one of these AQ2s, you know what? If you just want to go mock one, if you just want to go in there and look at it, say, "Ha, I can see the difference between this and ebony, the real veneer." No, you're not going to do that. Go for it. Go in there, meet with Mike, look at the drum set. They've got them tuned up. You know, so hopefully we're going to talk to Mike. I want to get the full story from Mike on that, on everything he's got sonar wise. I know that so far this year, he's also a dealer for two other drum brands at least. That's not like little niche type things like Outlaw Drums or Pie or one of those, or Lucky. Um, but he's also a dealer for two major drum companies, and so far his Sonor purchases this year have far outweighed the other two put together. So if you're a Sonor guy and remotely in the Atlanta area, or if you have any business in Atlanta, family in Atlanta, you want to go eat at a restaurant in Atlanta, you just need an excuse to go to Atlanta. Uh, he's a good excuse. So go meet him, check out the store. If you don't see what you want, he can get it for you. He can get it drop shipped, whatever you want to do. So really pumped up about Atlanta Drum Shop and really pumped up about the AQ2s. I will tell you also that another major retailer has sold one of their AQ2s as well. And now I'm talking specifically about the 150th anniversary stuff. So, uh, where does that leave us? I think that's about got it wrapped up. Um, Again, just a quick wrap up here. Hope to get kicked off with the Kit of the Week series on a Wednesday coming to you soon, maybe this week, maybe next week. Um, got an interview scheduled for this coming week, one probably for the week after that. The Lamar Carter interview, I'm just going to put that on the back burner. I don't know. I hope this guy's okay. Uh, the only reaching out I've tried to do is through email. I haven't dug in, and there's only so much you want to do before you start to feel like you're entering stalker territory. And I run into a lot of that on pursuing people for these interviews. I'll send an email out and they'll be like, you know what, let me get back to you next week. Next week, you don't hear from them. The week after next, you send out another email. Then you don't hear back. And then eventually you do. And it's just kind of this little tug of war. And it's like, okay, how aggressive is too aggressive? So I've made several attempts to contact Lamar, and maybe he's just gotten really busy. I know he had a little snag in Europe, whatever it was. I think he may be back from there. I don't even know. I'm just gonna set it on the back burner till I hear from him, or maybe going sometime mid-month in September, I'll try one more time. Um, but as far as I'm concerned, it's sitting there ready to roll. All I need is the thumbs up from him. If he wants anything edited beyond what it is, I can do that and then re-upload it. But I will not release it without his stamp of approval, period. And so we will get that sooner or later, I hope. Uh, we'll see how that shakes out. It's going to be a good week, folks. Make it a good week on your end. Stay in touch. Please like and subscribe. This is very important. I should be getting monetized, and I'm not. I don't know why. Hit the like button. Please subscribe. Hit the bell so you know when new content's coming out. Don't forget drumandstage.com/forum, FORUM. Great things going on there. I'm probably going to work it out where preemptive links to interviews come out there maybe a day ahead of when they come out on YouTube, if I can figure out how to make that happen without having to upload it into spots, which would really severely cut down on views on either one. So that's probably not a good idea. But I'll figure this out. So sign up for the forum. It's going to be great. It's already pretty good. Just need you there. Need you logged in. Need you reading what we're doing and going along with us and adding your own content. So that's going to wrap us up. Talk to you soon. Thank you.